problem in the previous race. He's on the outside of the grid on number 2. From Peter Guest on 10, Sean Giles on 19, Chris Bombardier on 11, and John Allen on 14. That's the front row of the grid. The second row, Dave Fuller's on 30, Graham Wilshaw on 8, Andrew Thompson on 6, and Craig Jones on 96. And of interest on the third row, Graham Morris at 7. As the lights go green and they blast away, and Keith Greentree on 52. Enormous variety of machine, including that Ducati that surged to the lead in the hands of Roy Leslie, a guy maturing in age, 36, 37 years of age, but really, Dennis Neal, I think riding better possibly than he's ever done in his career. But look at that sight on Mountain Straight. As they get to that hump, surge over there, and you heard an interesting comment from one of the riders today about the bikes getting airborne over there.
Yeah, speaking to Sean Giles yesterday on the Yamaha, and was saying now with the bike running correctly, it is lifting both wheels off the grid.
So it just scoots off the top and goes into space.
Yes, he's noticing that because the increase in revs, you could hear the engine pre-revving when the wheel took off there.
Sean Giles on 19.
Sean Giles, I'm sure will do a lot better in this race than his qualifying times will show. He was having trouble jetting the bike, but the old ace Tony Hatton came up here, got the thing running correctly this morning, and I'm sure he'll give Roy Leslie a very good run.
And this is where the barnstorming action is, through McPhillamy Park, sweeping along towards Skyline Straight, a site that's been greeting Australian motorcycle races since 1938. Down now off the mountain, they turn right and they turn left, alternating 8 times in all, until they get to the top of Mountain Straight and then start the roller coaster. Sensational stuff on a car, in a car, and on a motorbike, absolutely electrifying. Dennis Neal, what is it that makes motorcycle riders want to take on the incredibly fast, difficult task of racing here, and potentially very dangerous one?
Well, I think, Will, this circuit offers such a variety of conditions. It's uphill, downhill, off camber, on camber, has a great atmosphere. It's a real tradition to come here and race at Easter, and it's great that the races are on here and gathering some momentum again.
Because this was a pilgrimage to Mount Panorama at Easter for motorcyclists, whether you're a racer or an enthusiast who camped on the mountain, who took in days and days of most electrifying motor racing. And in this particular race, the Australian solo TT, Roy Leslie leading at the end of the first of 10 laps, coming across the start line in a standing lap time of 2:19.47, 160.3 kilometres an hour, very nearly a 100 mile an hour standing opening lap. Let's have a look at this incident, and he bailed off early, Ned Kelly from Victoria. Ned, as he likes to call himself, and I think he's pleased to be off it there.
Tell you what, he's out in the kitty litter.
Oh,
but look at his bike continuing on down the circuit, trying to flip. That marshal's not watching what's happening here. Or he is watching, but I would have been jumping back had I been him.
Sure, somebody who had been jumping back behind the fence there, and it's off, still busy trying to gather up some of the other competitors. But here in packed traffic is 19, and that's Sean Giles. Now, he has all these bikes being lapped in front of him to feed his way through. Giles hasn't been so active in Australian racing in recent years, but he's had some good performances in Japan. In that 200-kilometre race at Suzuka on a Moriwaki, second outright, I think, in a packed international field.
Yes.
It was a great result for a Moriwaki bike.
Tell you what, he's a great rider and very easy to guy to get on with, but unfortunately hasn't had the funds, and hasn't been able to attract a major sponsor. Has got some backing for this meeting through RC Cola, which are in fact the sponsors of this race. They've come in and gave him some money, paid for his tyres and so on, and some of the running costs. He raced the bike at Eastern Creek last weekend with one of the support races to the GP, won both races there. And Sean Giles, I'll tell you what, if there's any corporate people out there which would like to see a young Australian have a go and really give the top superbike teams a run, this would be your man.
So Roy Leslie now in his final lap, coming through Caltex Chase. Round back to rejoin Conrod Straight after that diversion built in after a fatal accident here some years ago. And Roy coming round now to lap what would have been one of the Willings years ago, but it's David Drexler now on 49 as he comes round, finishing the race first in the first leg of the Australian Solo TT at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. And Roy Leslie heading home, a field of 63 other bikes. On bike number 11 is Chris Bombardier. In front of them was Sean Giles taking second place, and then Bombardier in third on 11. Peter Guest hot on his heels, fourth on bike number 10.
I think it's obligatory, isn't it, Will, to stand it up on the back wheel after you've won?
It is.